Okay, folks, 7:05. I think it's time we get the show started. We've got a quorum here, so we're good to go. I've started the recording. So first of all, welcome everyone to the July meeting of NPU-F. Today's July 16th. We're starting at about 7:06. My name is Tom Schwab. For those of you that haven't met me, I'm the vice chair for NPU-F. Normally, you're used to seeing our chair, Debbie Shopchinsky, hosting. Debbie can't be here tonight, so I'm afraid you are all stuck with me for the next couple hours. It's my first time hosting this meeting, and I will tell you that Debbie makes this look easy, but as I'm learning, there's a lot of moving pieces behind the scenes. So I have even more appreciation for what Debbie does than I did before. So I'll do my best, but thanks in advance for everyone's understanding and patience as I work through tonight's learning curve. The good news is I'm not alone. I've got a lot of folks helping me. Catherine King is our NPU secretary. She's going to be taking notes so Debbie can see all the fun she's missing. In addition, we're recording tonight's meeting. Um, Also with us tonight, Kay Stevenson and Susan Canelos. They are our public safety co-chairs. And in addition, Kay is helping me by co-hosting tonight, so she'll be helping manage Zoom and some other features like that. Also with us, Wiley Somerville, our zoning chair. Wiley's going to help us with our variances tonight. Who else is with us? Rich Sussman is our Parks, Trees, and Environmental Chair. Marla Johnson, our Communications Chair. Jason Holmes, our Education Chair. Katie Reeves, our APAB Representative. And normally, Doug Young is our planner that supports us at these meetings. Doug's out tonight as well. So Susan Coleman from the planning team has graciously stepped up and will be acting as our official planner for tonight's meeting. Okay, that's a little bit about who we are. Let's talk about the meeting logistics for tonight. Um, Bear with me, there's a bunch here, but Debbie usually covers this at the beginning of the meeting, so I'll go through it quickly. We have two agendas in the NPUF. We have the full agenda. That's the one with the phone numbers at the top on the front. That's going to include everything we're going to talk about tonight. In addition, we have the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a subset of the full agenda. These are things that are usually easier to approve without objection. We bundle them all together. We vote on them as a package. So if you're here for an application tonight, please make sure you check the full agenda. Don't panic if you're not on the consent agenda or we move off the consent. We'll get to you if you're on the full agenda. And I have posted both of these agendas in the chat. A little bit on our voting requirements. All residents of the NPU-F may vote unless you have a financial interest in a particular application. If you're a business or a property owner, you may not vote on your own application, but you can vote on all the other applications. If you're not an NPU resident, but a business owner, you may vote if you've met the requirements. And those are all described in our bylaws. And all these voting rules are contained at the bottom of the full agenda. Please refrain from voting if you do not live or own property or a business within NPUF. We will be checking that during and after the meeting. When we vote, we're going to want you to use the raise your hand feature. That's the way you're going to cast your votes tonight, your virtual hands. I'll go over that more in a minute. We do use Robert's Rules of Order as our parliamentary guide, but we have a somewhat relaxed view on it. So for most routine matters, I'm simply going to ask, are there any objections or for unanimous consent? Anything that's more involved, we'll make a formal motion. I'll recognize the person making the motion and the first person to second that motion. That's the only exception to the raise your hand before you speak rule. So we're going to ask if you have a comment or a question, please use that raise your hand feature and we'll call on you. But the motions are the only exception to that. Okay, you guys are on the call now, so if you've figured out the basics of Zoom, but for those of you that aren't familiar or typically don't phone into this meeting, let me give everyone a real quick refresher on the key Zoom features that we're going to use tonight. The first is a participant list. Simply a list of everybody that's in the meeting tonight. Your name should appear at the top of the list. If that panel of the names didn't appear, generally at the bottom of your screen, you should see a little button for the participant list. That'll bring up the menu. Um, if there's more than one person at your house or residence on the single Zoom device, we really need to see both your names in the description. That ensures that when we count the votes, we count you as two votes instead of one. So to edit your name, go over to the participant list. You should see more. Click that, and that will give you the option to edit your name. You can then put both you and your partner, whoever's there with you's name in the list. If somebody else's name is appearing next to your window, please correct that. If we have duplicate names, we're not going to count either vote when it comes to voting. All right. And also, Kay and myself might be editing your names, putting a two or something in front of it. So don't panic if you see somebody else making slight adjustments to your name. But we really want you to correct it yourself first. Okay, probably the most important feature in Zoom is the mute button. That is generally a little microphone down in the lower left. It usually appears in the participant list next to your name. It's very important to keep yourself muted at all times unless you're speaking or presenting. Um, the other features we're going to use tonight, I mentioned the raise your hand icon. You'll find that under the React tab or Reactions tab at the bottom. Again, we're going to use that when we cast a vote. We're also going to use that anytime you have a question or comment. Please raise your hand and we'll call on you in the order with which your hand was raised. Sometimes people mess this up and they hit the thumbs up icon or the clappy hands icon. Please don't do that. Those features go away after a couple of seconds, so your vote won't count and you'll lose your place in line. Make sure you hit the bar that says raise your hand. Okay. Let's see, what else do we've got? So again, I mentioned I'll call on the speakers in the order they're raise your hands. And Kay, please keep me honest if I don't see somebody's hand raised and I move on. Pull me back. I don't want to override anyone's comment. Cameras. I see a lot of you have your cameras on now. That's great. And those of you who don't, that's fine too. But when we're hearing an application, when you're presenting your application, we need you to turn your cameras on. And reason being, we need to make sure that the people that are presenting are actually the authorized people for that application. So turn your camera on for that. If you want to turn it off afterwards, that's fine too. Some of you that are just listening in tonight aren't in Zoom. You're only dialing in. That's fine. To raise your hand, use *9 on your phone. So pressing *9, don't worry, I will still be able to see your hand in Zoom if you hit *9, so I'll know to call on you. Likewise, if you phone in only via your phone device, you need to click *6 to toggle on and off your mute function. And the last Zoom feature, of course, is the chat. I mentioned that I posted all of the agendas and our meeting minutes to the chat already. Again, if you don't see the chat, there should be a little button at the bottom. We'll activate a new window that'll pop up. It's a great place to send messages to either everybody or an individual. I posted the agendas and minutes. Also, it's a great place to put your contact information. So if you're, let's say, with a city department, there's no need to read long phone numbers, email addresses. Just post it in the chat. People can pull it down from there. And lastly, if you're at the end of the night, if you want to save the chat for prosperity's sake, you should see three little dots, generally in the upper right-hand corner. Click that. It'll give you a save option. You can save that chat to your hard drive. All right, a couple items on our meeting protocols here. First of all, please try to keep all questions and comments germane to the topic at hand. If you have a random thought, you can either note it in the chat and somebody will answer it that way, or save it and we'll add it into the under new business in the at the appropriate time in the agenda near the end of the evening. Please be respectful to everybody. I mean, after all, we're all neighbors here. And I know there's a lot of people that are here because they're passionate about a given subject or application. That's great. We like to hear passion, but sometimes that passion can morph itself into a snarky or sarcastic comment. And, there's no place for that. So please keep that out of either the chat or your comments, and I will endeavor to do the same. In the interest of fairness, giving everybody a chance to speak and time, we're going to ask you only to speak once on a topic, um, unless you're asked for clarification, or there's questions on a previous remark. And also, we're going to try to hold everybody to 2 minutes per comment. So if you have something to say, we want to hear it, but please take the time to think it through in your head and distill it down to your key salient points. And of course, one person, please speak at a time. That's one of the reasons we use that raise your hand feature. We're recording this, so we don't want background noise. And if unfortunately, if anybody tends to interrupt a lot or starts hogging the floor, we'll be forced to mute you. We don't want to do that. We don't want to reject anyone from the meeting. So please treat everybody neighborly. Okay, moving on. It is campaign season coming up. So of course, anyone running for office is prohibited from using this meeting to campaign in any way, shape, or form. That includes introducing yourself, talking about campaign activities, having a banner in the background, wearing buttons, etc. And the city code requires us to report anyone that violates that. So please, no campaigning tonight. Um, we want everyone to speak up. If you feel strongly on a topic, this is a great opportunity to get your voice heard. And that's true whether you're in favor of an agenda item or whether you're opposed to it. We want to hear both sides here and have a healthy dialogue. Um, if you think something should be noted on a topic, speak up, and we can make sure that gets in the minutes or in the appropriate place. And please don't misconstrue the rules of Roberts and the raising your hand is trying to suppress anyone's opinion or comments. We want to hear from everybody. So don't be shy, but please, again, try to be brief. Um, the comments that you put in the chat will be sent to the city, so there can be follow-up there as well. And I do speak rather quickly. We do have a lot to get through, so I'll try to move through it quickly. But if I'm going too fast, raise your hand, ask me to explain anything I glazed over, or slow down if you're not staying with us. And again, your participation in tonight's meeting is what it's all about. It's critical to our grassroots democracy. The last concept I want to leave you with is how important your vote is tonight at the NPU. You know, it's I think we all have a responsibility to share our opinions with city leadership, but I want to remind you that all the votes we take tonight are only recommendations. Ultimately, all the decisions made on an application, whether it's a variance or an alcohol or a special event, they're all done by city boards or city administrators or city councils. So our NPU votes are only recommendations, but it's important to express them. And if you want to go beyond the NPU, I encourage you to express your views either in writing or via phone or to attend a public hearing. And so city hall members can hear your opinions firsthand. Um, the other concept that Debbie talks about is it's very easy to get discouraged if the NPU casts a vote and shares a recommendation, and that recommendation is not followed by a city entity. I would encourage you, don't be discouraged. It's still important that we get on the record, that we show that the NPU is listening and that we're watching what's going on and we have a say in it. And if you're concerned about your voice not being heard, you know, the most important thing you can do is exercise your right and vote this coming November. And if there's a given city official that you feel or group is not representing the needs of the community, use the power of your vote to change them out. Um, the last point I will point out is another way to amplify your voice, not only through voting, is to get involved with the NPU. We have our elections also coming up in November. I think there's going to be some empty positions, some open positions, and it's a great way to give back to the community, great way to get involved, meet your neighbors, and a great way to amplify your voice. So if you're at all civic minded, please reach out to myself or Debbie or any of the other committee chairs in the NPU, and we can tell you more about it and get you set up with the right folks. Okay, that concludes my ramble. So let's get on to the important stuff. First order of business is to adopt the agenda. Again, I posted both agendas in the chat. They're also posted to the NPU website. Thanks to Marla for getting all that up on our website. Are there any additions to tonight's agenda? If so, please use the raise your hand feature. Okay, I'm not seeing any. So are there any objections to adopting tonight's agenda as posted? If there's any objections, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, the agenda is officially adopted without objection. All right, moving on to item number 2 on our agenda. That is the approval of the minutes. Both the May and June minutes are both ready for approval. We've been running behind a month, but thanks to the hard work by Catherine King and Debbie, they got all the minutes caught up, and both sets have been posted in the chat and to the NPU website. So thanks for Marla for getting all that up there. So is there a motion to approve both the May and June minutes?
I will motion to approve. This is
I'll
Marla.
second. That's Kay.
Great. So hold on, let me get up there. Motion. Marla and Kay. Thank you, ladies. Are there any objections to approving the 2 sets of minutes? All right, seeing none, the motion carries without objection. The minutes are officially entered into the public record. Moving on to our third order of business, just have a couple of real brief announcements. We'll be working on our annual review of the NPU bylaws. If you have any recommendations for the bylaws or changes, please contact Debbie or myself or really any of the NPU chairs, and we can get that information into discussion. Also, we've talked about this before, but the draft of the zoning ordinance 2.0, draft 1 is ready. It's posted to for your comments. So you can go to atlantazoning.com and add in your comments there. They're going to use a tool called, I think it's pronounced Conveo, to make those adjustments. And again, that is open now for your comments. There's tentatively a target of September 2nd to have those done by, but Debbie and I are potentially working on extending that. Okay, that's the only announcements I'll make at the forefront. From here, let's move on to agenda item 4, the city department representatives. Is anyone on from Atlanta Fire Department?
Yes.
Let's say, all right, is that Battalion Chief Martin?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, welcome. What what good news can you share with us, Battalion Chief?
A few things. Of course, in the month of July, uh, get my talking points up, okay? So for the month of July, just celebrate with Atlanta Fire. Probably join the community in celebrating the prioritization of safety, wellness, and emergency preparedness. Uh, thing is the National Minority Health Month is July. So when it comes to mental health, it's time to recognize, address mental health disparities affecting Black, Indigenous, people of color, and communities and so forth. And first and foremost, one of the things that you can do as far as celebrating is check on yourself. Take the time to assess your own mental health well-being, journal, meditate, schedule therapy sessions if needed. Support a minority mental health organization. You can do that as well by donating, sharing, following groups such as Therapy for Black Girls, the Loveland Foundation, or Latinx Therapy. And also you can learn something new when it comes to reading literature, watch a documentary, explore. There's many avenues to explore to get a different perspective from it. On the safety aspect of it, we do want to go over some things that we've actually been coming across. Excuse me, hold on. That's been pretty common, and we've been having responses to when it comes to grill safety. All right, when it comes, grills are for the backyard, not the balcony. All right, in the city of Atlanta, it is against fire code to grill on balconies or wooden decks. So just keep that in mind, and also you want to keep your grills uh, away from any combustible materials or even from the structure. You don't want your grills up against your homes or anything like that, as it increases the risk of causing damage or a fire. Um, Also, your wooden fences and even just tree branches and so forth. Another thing is never leave your grill unattended when in use. And also, every now and then, make sure you also clean your grills. I understand that some people tend to want to keep the grill that and not want to clean it. They look at it as flavor for some things, but just keep that in mind or seasoning your grill, but make sure you also clean it as the soot build up and the grease build up can also ignite and cause and get out of control and cause a fire, especially in your gas grills. Um, of course, we're also in July and are approaching August, and we, of course, everyone knows in the state of Georgia, city of Atlanta, that it can get pretty hot in here, hot here. So that summer heat and humidity can creep up on you and cause some heat emergencies. So make sure we're drinking water throughout the day, even when you're not thirsty. Continuously hydrate. Try to avoid sugar. Sorry. Avoid sugary, caffeinated, or alcoholic drinks as they tend to expedite the dehydration process. And when it comes to heat stroke, that is a serious matter and look for signs. Excuse me, I'm gonna mute for 1 second so this doesn't. Okay. As far as heat strokes, look for the signs: dizziness, nausea, heavy sweating, and so forth. A little bit delirious as far as being delirious. And a more serious matter in a person having a heat emergency is if you see a person or come across a person experiencing a heat exhaustion or heat stroke, sweating is a good sign that they're sweating. However, if a person is not sweating, it's very serious at that point, and 911 needs to be called right away. Uh, final Final will be pool safety, as whether it's public or private pools. We want you guys to be safe as far as that. Have constant supervision for children around the pool. Never leave them unattended. Designate a water watcher. In that case, use a buddy system as well. Never swim alone, and knowing your limitations when it comes to swimming. Um, cut back on, well, not cut back, but let's try to eliminate horseplay and running around the pool as that increases potential for accidents, as well as stay away from drains and no diving in the shallow areas as far as that. Um, Alcohol and swimming do not mix, as we all know. That can also limit a person's function. So that concludes my point as far as the my point of I'm sorry, my talking points. You know, does anyone have any questions for me?
Yeah, yeah. Is it Tonja Cash?
Yes, it's me. I just have a question when you're talking about the grills on the balcony. Is that only gas grills or is that electric? Because I know some places will allow electric grills on the balcony.
Well, no grilling as far as ordinance are allowed on balconies when it comes to that gas or charcoal or electric. They
Okay,
said
thank
when it
you.
comes to city ordinance as far as grilling safety, which actually brings me to another point when it comes to rooftop and balconies. We're seeing an increase in some of the amenities in a lot of these multifamily dwellings, lofts and so forth. People are, well, some of these units have a balcony for entertaining guests. So when it comes to those things, those amenity spaces, which are accessible to the public, we want to make sure that they're properly permitted through the Atlanta office buildings. So we did have a few years ago or a year ago when on Howell Mill, that was one of the causes of that rooftop fire was a grill up top and not properly being monitored. So that's some of the things that we want to also get a handle on. So if there are some of the things that you do see if you come across, let's just make sure they're properly permitted and let's keep things clear away from that to limit the risk of fire, potential fire, or even spread.
Are you saying that you can have it, but it has to be permitted, or you can't have it?
So for rooftop and balconies, they have to be permitted. However, balconies is like your personal balcony. If you're at a apartment complex, you are not allowed to have those.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Battalion Chief Martin? All right. Well, thank you, Battalion Chief. We really appreciate those good tips and advice.
All right, you're welcome. You guys have a safe evening, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Next, let's go to Atlanta Police Department. Anyone on from Zone 2? Zone 2? How about Zone 6? APD? Zone 2 or 6? No? All right. We'll skip those. And what about code enforcement? Anyone on from APD code enforcement?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Officer AJ Williams with APD Code Enforcement.
Welcome.
How are you all?
Excellent, excellent. What would you like to share with us tonight?
Hi, I'm just going to give you guys a little update of what's going on with NPU-E and F. But this is F. I'm sorry, we'll speak about F. Just an update on some active cases that's currently, we have about 45 open cases pertaining to property maintenance. And that consists of junk trash and debris, inoperable vehicles, and flaking, peeling paint, just to give you a little insight of what property maintenance means. That's all I have for
All
now.
right. Are there any
But
questions
if you
for
have any
Officer?
questions or concern, my email and phone number is in the chat.
Thank you so much, Officer Williams. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. What about 311? I think I saw Tamika here.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Good, good. Welcome, Tamika.
Thank you, thank you. My name is Tamika Clark Merriweather. I am your 311 ambassador, and of course, as most of you may know, 311 is your non-emergency reporting center. We dispatch work orders and concerns to the departments that you may have an issue with. So everything from potholes to missed trash to water, main breaks, traffic, requests for emergency traffic signals, crosswalks, so on and so forth. We also handle things from business license to film entertainment permits. So when he was talking about those permits, you can call us and find out which permit fits you. So, we are your non-emergency information station for the city of Atlanta. Of course, most of you guys know there are 5 pathways to contact us. Everyone knows 311, and that is if you are in the city limits, if you're outside the city limits, or if you do not have a traditional Atlanta area code. That will be 404 678 770 and now 470. We encourage you to do the extended 10-digit number, which is 404 546 0311. And that is because a lot of other counties and cities are starting to take the lead and have their own 311. And we don't want you to get to them. We want you to get to us. So if you have a different area code or if you're outside the city of Atlanta, make sure you do the extended number. Also, we are very much pushing the app, the mobile app where you can log in, sign in, and do your own reporting. Pictures are great. You can upload pictures. You can also take pictures and at us at social media at ATL311 at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also email those pictures to us at ATL311 at AtlantaGA.gov. And then also, we would love to hear from you via chat. We have chat agents. So you're not a talker, we got something for you as well. You can chat with us. And that's at ATL311.com. Other than that, I leave the floor open to you. We do encourage you guys to fill out the surveys. We're trying to get feedback of what is needed. Even kudos, we're welcome to it all. We also have our hours. Don't let me forget the hours. We're here Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to midnight. You can call, chat, and go to social media. You can also do supportive services, which is our quality of life portion of 311. They have extended their hours to midnight. So they're 7 a.m. To midnight, Monday through Friday, as of April 14th. And they have updated Notify Atlanta. Notify Atlanta now makes sure that they have the weather, because of course we're in, some would say, the end times and the floods and the banks and all that. So we have weather, as well as city emergencies alert in there. So if you text Notify ATL to 24639, you can sign up and kind of have those emergencies. I don't think we're paired with Georgia Power. You still have to do them separately. Other than that, open the floor for any questions or concerns. Don't forget the survey, and don't forget to invite us to your events. We have links to request us. Have a great one.
Great. Any questions for Tamika on 311? No, you did a good job explaining everything, Tamika. Looks like they're all on board.
All right, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you for being here tonight. All right, let's move on. Anyone from Public Works Code Enforcement?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
My
afternoon.
apologies in advance. I'm having some issues with this camera on this phone, but any event, uh, we'll try to do our best here. I am Officer McClendon. I'm representing DPW Suite Team. That is the inspection arm of Department of Public Works. I am not your normal representative, but I'm here on his behalf. He's out on vacation. That being said, just wanted to touch on some general information. There are no upcoming delays as far as services are concerned with Public Works. The next delay will be Labor Day weekend, or Labor Day specifically, so we'll be running one day behind, but that's quite a bit of a ways away. So just wanted to let you guys know that. Also, we wanted to encourage you guys to continue using the 311 to schedule your bulk piles at the curb. In addition to that, Public Works also has an app that you can also utilize in scheduling your bulk um, for collection. Just streamlines it a little more and gives you an extra option in relation to that. It also has some nice pictures and things like that to kind of specify what actually is bulk. That being said, we want to make sure that what we place at the curb is actually bulk. There have been a couple of instances to where there have been items there that's not does not constitute bulk, and that can cause delays or either cause us to actually have to come out and you receive a nice little visit for us and a notice on your door in relation to what you have at the curb, and we want to try to avoid that if possible. Herbie's curbside. Want to put a strong emphasis on making sure that we are returning our Herbies back to our property after collection day. As you guys know, that's a city ordinance. Those Herbies have to be returned back to your property once we have serviced them the following day by 9 a.m. So it used to be 7 a.m., but they've extended those hours to give you guys an opportunity, some additional time to make sure that those Herbies are pulled back. And again, if they're not, that's subject to a nice visit from our code enforcement officers, and we don't want that. Last but not least, um, as you guys know, we're still operating on the alternate schedule as far as weekly yard trimmings collections. That's separate from bulk. Obviously, you would schedule that, but just the weekly yard trimmings that are placed curbside in paper bags. We're still operating on the alternate schedule. Some routes are collecting every week, but overall, we're still operating on an alternate schedule. So if you place your trimmings at the curb for weekly collection and they're not collected, give it another week because it may be a week that we're alternating. And if it's more than 2 weeks, obviously reach out to 311 or our department, and we'll make sure that those are collected. That being said, that's pretty much all I have. So I'd open the floor for any questions or
Excellent.
concerns.
Rich Sussman, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Officer McClendon, on Monday's pickup with the yard trimmings, After the Herbies the garbage was taken out of the Herbies, the sanitation people dumped our yard trimmings into the Herbie, and later a truck took care of that. Is that because the truck is using the mechanical arm or something that they can't pick up a regular a non-Herbie trash can that has yard trimmings, or what's happening? If you understand what I'm saying. Basically, the yard people took the yard trimmings from our can, which is marked trash, yard trimmings, dumped that in the Herbie, and later on emptied the Herbie into another truck that was collecting yard trimmings.
I'm not sure. I have to get some more information on that. If you don't mind, can I drop my information in the chat again,
Sure.
and we can talk offline. Yeah, I'm interested in getting some more clarity on that, but that sounds unusual to say the least. Yeah.
If you put your name in the chat, I will send you an email either today or tomorrow with a full explanation, and maybe that was the way they were collecting that day. But if you can investigate that, I would appreciate it.
Sure thing. No problem.
Excellent. Any other questions for Officer McClendon? All right. Well, thank you, officer. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you guys so much.
All right. Moving on. Anyone from Parks and Recreation here tonight? Parks and Rec. No. All righty. Next up, then, Watershed Management. Aisha Brown, are you here? Watershed Management? All righty, we'll move on then. How about the Fulton County Solicitor? Janelle Bowles?
Janelle Bowles. So I'm City of Atlanta solicitor. So
Oh, I'm
different.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No
Welcome.
worries. Hello. You're doing a
Hello.
great job, Tom. So I'm with the Office of the City Solicitor. Solicitor Rains Carter is our solicitor, and we are the prosecuting arm for the City of Atlanta. We prosecute general traffic, criminal, and code enforcement. I'm going to put my information in the chat, and you can contact me if you have any questions about any code violations, criminal or general traffic. I don't handle those, but I can get you to the right person in our office. That's all I have.
Excellent. Any questions? Yeah, Rich.
Ms. Bowles, any progress on the schedule for the criminal court on the Happy Herman's case?
I'm going to check and I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Bowles, for being here tonight. All right. What about last but not least? I see Mr. Mitchell. What would you like to tell us about the Ombudsman Office?
Good evening, Tom. You are awesome this evening.
That comment was perfect because Debbie has now joined.
Whoa.
So my boss is now listening in. So yeah, I'm trying to pass the audition here.
I hear you. Good evening, everyone. Okay, my name is Clyde Mitchell. I'm your neighborhood relationship manager in the Office of the Ombudsman of Neighborhoods with Dr. Jody Meriday. My information will be in the chat. I did do it early, so I need to put it back in the chat. Please be in touch with our office if we can assist to surface concerns to departments, help you find information, mediate discord, and explore options to resolve outstanding constituent and neighborhood issues. Your NPU have been using us a little bit, and we've been successful in some things and help to escalate things. So we appreciate you. Keep reaching out to us. Also, this afternoon, and I think last week, I sent out an email and probably a text to those that I had telephone numbers that are NPU neighborhood presidents or chair people. Our office would like to do a fellowship so we can basically further go into depth how you can really use our office to take care of some of those real old outstanding issues that you may have and other things and answer questions. So please send me back your information. All we're looking for are days that you are available and possible times. I look forward to fellowshipping with you guys. And Tom, that's Tom and Debbie. That's all I have. I'm open for questions.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Mitchell? All I'll add is I've used Mr. Mitchell's services in the past, and it was excellent. He was very helpful. So if you're getting frustrated with city government, he's a great person to reach out to.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you for being here.
Okay.
All righty. I think that's all the city departments. Did I miss any departments? No? Okay. Well, let's move on to elected officials then. I don't see Alex Wan in the chat. Alex, are you with us? District 6? No. Okay. What about District 2? Amir? Or anyone representing District 2? No. All right. District 5? We don't. All right. Little light on elected officials there. How about at the state level? State Rep Stacey Evans?
You have post one at large from Councilmember Bond's office.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Thank you. And I want to commend you as well. You are doing an awesome job tonight.
I'm gonna have to pay a lot of bribes out, I think, after these positive comments, but thank you. What would you like to share with us tonight?
Well, I don't have any announcements tonight, but I did want to acknowledge that I'm here. Well, our office is here, Councilmember Michael Julian Bond's office. That's post one at large. If you have any questions or concerns about anything in your community, please feel free to contact our office. Our office number is 404-330-6770. Councilmember Bond's email is mbond, that's MBOND @atlantagA.gov. And mine is A Madison, that's AMADISON @atlantagA.gov. And I'll be happy to take any questions if you have any at this time, and the council member will call you personally if I can't assist you.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Madison? All right. I'm not seeing any, but thank you for being here tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And last, anyone representing the Fulton County Commissioners? Anyone from the Commissioners, Fulton County Commissioner's Office? No? Okay. Well, I think that concludes our elected officials. So thank you for everyone that's joined. Okay, let's move on to item number 5 in our consent agenda, or excuse me, our overall agenda. This is the fun part where we get to vote. We're going to start with the consent agenda. And again, it's a subset of our full agenda. We've got a couple of special events on the consent agenda tonight. And again, just need to know if the presenters are here tonight so we can make sure that we have all the I's dotted and T's crossed. The first is Emerging 100. That's a Class E event. It's got 1,500 participants. Going to take place at Park Tavern in the Piedmont Park. And our recommendation is to support. Is it Mr. Paul Smith or Lee Henderson here tonight?
Paul Smith there.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate you being here. That's all we need for now. Let's see. What about Shaky Knees? I'm sorry. Mr. Smith, did you have something else to add? Oh, all right. Next up on the agenda is the Shaky Knees Festival. It's a Class A event, a rather big one, 85,000 participants, Piedmont Park in the Meadow and Oak Hill. I know Debbie has had some correspondence with the organizers. They need a little more time to get this one ready. So our recommendation is for deferral tonight. Is Tim Sweetwood with us? Or anyone from Shaky Knees? I guess given that the recommendations for deferral, we really don't need to have anyone present anyway, so we're covered there. Next up, concert in the park. It's a Class D event, just under 10,000 participants, also in Piedmont Park. It's a one-day event, April 19th of next year. And our recommendation is to support. Is Justin Richardson with us? Mr. Richardson or anyone representing concert in the park? Concert in the park, going once, going twice. All right, it is a no-show. Can I have a motion for deferral? Is that Rich? All right, let the record show Rich Sussman has raised his hand. Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Marla.
Thank you, Marla. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there anyone to object to the motion to defer concert in the park to next month, August 20th? If you object, please use the raise your hand feature and voice your objection that way.
Tom, I think it's fine to handle it this way, but really what we need to do is remove it from the consent agenda.
Oh,
and leave
okay.
the
And then
deferral in
cover
its
it again?
normal place.
All right. Okay, do we need a new motion to remove it from consent and then address it under the full?
I think we're fine to just remove it. We'll
Okay.
just say we'll hear it in its normal position on the agenda.
All right. I'm pulling that off. Keep us on the same page here. And the concert in the park. All right. So we won't vote on the motion now. We'll wait till we get to it in the main agenda. Fitness Atlanta is the last special event on our consent agenda. It is a Class E event, 1,000 participants, also at Piedmont Park. It's a two-day event spanning June 13th and 14th of next year. Our recommendation is to support. Is Kia Lewis or Brad Lewis present? Kia Lewis, Brad Lewis, or anyone representing Fitness Atlanta? All right, we will remove that from the consent agenda and cover it on the main agenda. Okay, we also have two zoning applications that qualify for the consent agenda. Wiley, do you want to summarize those for us?
Sure. First, we have V25-139 at East Rock Springs Road. Applicant seeking a variance from the ordinance to reduce east yard setback from 7 feet to 2 feet 2 inches. It has met the requirements for being on the consent agenda. A site visit was conducted, no neighbor opposition, and the board has unanimously supported it. Recommendation is to approve. Is the applicant for that one present or representative of that?
She's here. She's trying to talk, but I can't hear her. It's Carol Spillman. You're not muted. I don't know why we can't hear you. But she's here.
She's here. Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine then.
yeah, she's on screen.
Okay. All right, and the next one is V25-142, 1912 Lennox Road. Applicant seeking a variance to reduce the north side yard setback from 10 feet to 6.8 feet. Again, site visit was conducted by NLPA. No neighbor opposition, and the board has voted unanimously to support. And so the recommendation is for approval. Is the applicant for that variance present?
Yes, I'm present and the homeowner's present too.
Okay, thank you, Mark. All right. So good. That takes care of the portion of the consent agenda, Tom.
Excellent. Thank you, Wiley. Okay, so we're removing concert in the park and Fitness Atlanta for being no shows. We're deferring Shaky Knees, and we're supporting Emerging 100, as well as the two variances that Wiley went over, 139 and 142. So can I'll amend the consent agenda as described. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda with the removal of those two items.
Thank you, Kay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
All right. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second. Who was that?
I was one of them, David Lyle.
All right. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. We'll get you on there. All righty. So we've removed the concert in the park and Fitness Atlanta. Any discussion on the motion? All right. Let's use our voting buttons. All in favor of the motion to approve the amended consent agenda, please raise your hand now. All right, I'm counting 12 hands and 1 thumbs up. And I'm assuming Sean Brown and Christian, I can't read the second name. I assume, oh, there you go. All right, that's a hands up.
That's correct. Sorry about that.
No problem. And I think there's 2 people voting there. So we're looking at 14. Is that your count, Kay?
Yes, I concur.
All right, 14 ayes. Let me lower everybody's hand here. All right, those opposed to the motion to approve the consent agenda, please raise your hand now. I'm seeing none. So by a vote of 14-0, the amended consent agenda passes. All right, let's move on to the full agenda. Make sure I've got my notes straight here. Consent and fitness. All right. Okay. Moving on to item 7, matters for voting. We have covered Emerging 100 under the consent agenda. The next special event is the Atlanta Seafood and Caribbean Music Festival. It is at Piedmont Park up at the Legacy Fountain. It's September 6th of this year. It is a gated event. Is Mr. J.D. Lovett with us tonight?
My name's Sammy Mumphrey. I'm speaking for the agenda for Atlanta Seafood and Caribbean Music Festival.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mumphrey. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the festival?
Yes, sir. This is an annual festival. We did do it in the park last year. It is a seafood-based festival with a lot of food vendors that make seafood. Also, there's Caribbean vendors as well. We also have a lot of merchandise vendors that will have things that are coming from the Caribbean islands as well. The music is Caribbean based, so a lot of soca, dance hall music will be played for this festival.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Mumphrey? Yeah, Marla.
Hey, where was this in the park last year?
Last year, it was in the Promenade and Legacy Fountains.
Oh, it was? Okay. I see Doug Widener's on here. So the last festival that was in that location, the Tacos and Tequilas Festival, we had a lot of issues with sound amplification.
Okay.
And we know a lot of it's, some of it's not in your control, like the cloud cover, the humidity, all of that. But can you share how you will be testing the decibel levels that are impacting the neighborhoods, Virginia Highlands and Morningside, which is where the speakers are pointing?
Yes. So the first thing is that I do have a decibel meter where I can actually monitor while I'm there on site. Our production manager as well, who runs the stage, maintains a decibel meter. And then I maintain close communication with our officer that will be running the detail. So if there's any complaints that come in via radio, one of the things I do is I'll go to the sound production manager and ask them to adjust any gain which is the amplification of the sound to take it down to a level to reduce any complaints. I think the first thing as far as the sound, we just try to broadcast a clear sound for the people in the park in that space to be able to hear it between the promenade and Legacy Fountain. But for the most part, we're willing to reduce the sound so it does not impact the community to a degree where people are just restless or angry. But we will maintain monitoring the entire time to make sure everyone's happy.
Okay, thank you. And then just to confirm that the DJs are aware that they're not supposed to use foul language.
I've definitely for the DJs, I will get a disclaimer for them to sign and make sure that they know to maintain a clean set.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Vicki Davis.
Hi, I was just want to echo a little bit with what Marla was just saying. This was in the top 2 of the offensive loud events that we had in the last year. So perhaps if we could share among the immediate neighbors the security contact information, because I don't think anybody really knows how to contact the event security officers.
Absolutely.
I know we've got Doug,
Lieutenant Bourne is the officer that we used last year, and we look to repeat with him again this year. He is on the application as the lead officer. So on the application, his number is on there.
Okay.
But in the next meeting for consent, I can include that in the chat so everyone has a direct contact for him.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, Doug Widener.
Yeah, hi everybody. Doug Widener, presidency of the Piedmont Park Conservancy. I just wanted to reiterate, Sammy, we've not met, but I know you're working with Bridget and our events team, but we're taking the issue very seriously. We will have several of our senior staff on site that day, monitoring and working with Sammy and the producer and the team. We're really, we know that the April event was too loud. We're working diligently. We have an R&B event this weekend on Saturday from 4 until 9. So we'll be there too. That'll be our 3rd event and final event for the promenade for the year. And we really need to be watching the limits. And so it'll be Sammy and his team, the officer, and us all doing our best. And we'll make sure that you've got contact information if there are issues to let us know that day. But
and Doug,
Sammy, just one more thing, and to promote to your producer, we've said that if we can't get this sound under control, we're going to have to rethink this whole program. So we want to still do concerts on the promenade, but not at any cost. And so really monitoring things this year and keeping things in line with the language and the sound are really going to help us to do the festival for years in the future without community complaints. So we're really looking to be a real partnership with you all on keeping this under control.
And Doug, I do concur with you on that. I definitely will make sure the disclaimers for the DJs, I will go through that with them. I think one of the things that will also help is if there is a particular decibel level that will work just overall from one festival to the next that all festival organizers or managers have to deal with, that I think that would help control it, because discussing it, I definitely can provide a solution. Hey, here's Lieutenant Bourne's number. Give him a call if there's a complaint. We definitely will reduce the sound accordingly. But also at the same time, we are trying to stay within the amplified sound that we're allowed to for a festival as well. So we're not totally out of compliant, but I want to also make sure if you can give us a decibel level that we can stay at that's workable, then we definitely will make sure that happens. And then I'll also make sure that it is a clean show, so that way we don't have the concerns of the language coming from the amplified sound.
Great. Well, we'll talk with you guys offline, but that sounds great. I know Bridget and I will work with you guys and reach out for another planning meeting after this. So looking forward to talking to you more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Kay.
Yeah, just real quickly in response to Vicky's question about contacts, Debbie receives from the city every week a list of all the events that are happening in all the parks in the city, actually. And it identifies the event organizer with their contact information and the person running security and their contact information. And she shares that with leadership in the two neighborhoods or three neighborhoods, whatever it is for where the parks are, who I know in Virginia Highland, we share it out to all the neighborhood watch street captains. I think maybe Marla, you do the same with those that are nearby the park. So that information may not be to every individual homeowner, but it is there to your leadership in the neighborhood, so you know who to reach out to get directly to somebody that can help you out.
Okay, thanks, Kay. Are there any other questions? All right, can I have a motion relating to Atlanta Seafood and Caribbean Music Fest?
Move to support.
All right, thank you, Kay. Is there a second? All right, I see Rich raising his hand. Rich, you're an old hack at this. You know how to turn off your mute button there.
Second.
All right, I got you down, Rich. You're seconding it. Okay. Excuse me. Too much talking on my part. Okay, a motion's been made and has been seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your virtual hands. All right, I am looking at 10 ayes. All right, let me lower your hands. All those opposed to the motion of approval of the Atlanta Seafood and Caribbean Festival. Any opposed, please raise your hands now. Okay, I'm not seeing any nays. So by a vote of 10 ayes, 0 nays, the motion carries. The Atlanta Seafood and Caribbean Music Fest will be passed along with a recommendation to approve. Okay, moving along. We've already covered shaky knees under consent, which brings us to the One Music Fest 2025. Again, this is an event in Piedmont Park, 2-day event, October 25th and 26th. It's a gated event. Let's see. Doug, I know you're with us.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'll get it kicked off and I'll pass it to Josh Antonucci, who's the event organizer. This is a Class A permit. This is the Conservancy's one ticketed gated permit that we can use as a partial fundraiser for the Conservancy. We've had concerts in the past. We did One Music Fest 2 years ago, and they're coming back this year. So we are partners with the producers on this event with our permit. With that, I'm here to answer any other questions, but I'll have Josh, who can speak much more in detail about the event and production. Josh?
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Josh Antonucci with Rival, and we handle operations for the One Music Fest. Have been doing so for a better part of a decade. And we're last in Piedmont Park with you all back in 2023, as Doug noted. Our festival is October 25 and 26. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. We run from about noon until near 11 on the Saturday, and a little after 10 on the Sunday. We're a 3-stage festival taking place in both the Meadow and along Oak Hill. This is a largely R&B, hip hop, urban music festival, widely attended. Though you might note that if you look at the details of the application was submitted with the maximum capacity of the park as the attendance figure, and that's not likely the case. We would expect this to be more about 35,000 people per day for the 2 days. Our police coordinator, Sergeant Chris Clark, well seasoned in the neighborhood. I'm sure many of you all are familiar with him. And our event production team has worked in the park many times. We've been engaged with discussions with a particular stakeholders group representatives of NPU, E&F, all the city departments, all the immediately impacted neighbors surrounding the park, and have been working diligently to tune up what was already a proven plan from 2023, but an updated plan to make sure that we're paying attention to all things in the interest of the event and in the interest of the community. I have posted in the chat there a link to our traffic control plan. And Debbie, I hear you joined. It's been a minute since I've seen you. I hope you're well. Debbie has informed our plan over the last few years to make sure that we have called out the specific streets on your side of the park that warrant some attention from us, from our public safety team, and from our parking management team. And so those are specifically detailed within our traffic control plan there. But most notably, the streets just on the west side of Monroe that also adjoin the park. We will, as is customary for the Class A events, close those streets off to the general public and provide access to the residents and necessary event traffic only. And then, as we adopted back in 2023, there are a number of streets further up in the neighborhood east of Monroe where we are voluntarily providing no parking on one side of the street, posting and enforcement during the course of the weekend, so that we can help preserve emergency access, your own sanity on these weekends. We totally understand that your streets are very popular with the music fans coming to the festival. A note that is I can't take credit for, but we have been informed about by Zone 2 APD Command is that they have an intention of assigning a wrecker to the festival this year. And the intention there is to be able to have a faster reaction period, reaction time in the case that cars are parked illegally, or especially if they're blocking residential driveways. And they're even intending to set up an auxiliary tow lot, which would be located somewhere closer to Midtown than the ATO lot is far on the southwest side of town, and will just allow more rapid deployment of that towing enforcement over the course of the weekend. And we're really thankful to the zone for thinking ahead of the constituency concerns there, and putting some of the APD resources to work. I think I see the note, Miss Vicky. Yes, Dutch Valley Road should already be on the list. I'll ensure that is the case. That's about all I have off the top. If you have any questions.
Excellent. Any questions for Doug or Josh about the One at Music Fest? Yeah, Marla.
For the load in and the load out, or the setting up, I don't know if any of that happens on 10th, like 10th and Monroe and maybe St. Charles. I was just gonna respectfully request that it not be done when Midtown High School is from 8 to 8:30 a.m. because sometimes those trucks load in and then kids are late because traffic is blocked. And it's just like a 30-minute period of relief. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that's understood, Marla. We have been coordinating with the Midtown High School team for the last couple of months. Obviously, the existence of our festival during school dates and on weekends of school activities there's certainly overlap there. So we've been working with the team there. We loan them use of our police traffic officers, especially during school ingress and egress, to ensure we're moving the kids in and out as safely as we can. The reality is, we're going to maintain the eastbound lane of 10th Street will remain open all the way up until the first morning of the event. And the westbound lane of 10th Street is only going to be impacted for the last couple of days before the festival. We've shrunken that schedule as much as feasible to both create the safe event space and to try to facilitate the needs of the neighbors. But yes, we've been deep in discussions with Dr. Bachman and all of her staff to do everything that we can, and the athletics department has been very gracious in accepting our help when it can be used, but also in sort of massaging their schedule of activities on the campus so that we don't have a stadium full of kids there at the same time that we have a park full of festival going on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions on the One Music Fest?
Tom, Josh, there's a question in the chat from someone about parking passes. Maybe you just want to respond to that in the chat.
Sure. So we don't issue. Okay, I'm saying so. Your residential parking permits, we do not have any enforcement mechanism for anything having to do with any existing policy or enforcement. So what we will do, we can prohibit parking in the form of the no parking on one side of the street, and we can restrict access in the form of residents only to gain access to a street. Any other matter having to do with normal parking policy with the city, I would imagine remains intact because we cannot influence that.
So you don't issue passes per se. The officer on those streets where it's resident only, you just show your ID and then you get access.
Yeah, that's right. And you're actually challenging my memory here. We do on the west side of the park, we do have some streets where we do issue dashboard passes for the vehicles. And I would imagine that same can apply to just those streets on the west side of Monroe. We will have on the festival's website when it launches, which is going to be in the next couple weeks, we're going to have a whole community section that's going to provide information of our processes, of opportunities for people to communicate with us. And this is also going to include, and sorry, Kay, this isn't direct to your question, but this is also going to include a community portal, an online community portal, where we invite you to express concerns or congratulations over this portal to the festival. We're hoping that you're just going to tell us we're doing a great job everywhere. But if it is a direct line for you to inform us what you see, what issue may exist, and if it's those matters that are opinion, they're gonna save in our file, and we're gonna have them for a future event. Those matters that are actionable items that we can dispatch, whether it be law enforcement or our own festival security or our solid waste, our waste management team to empty a city trash can that's overflowing because of our traffic, things like that. We're gonna be reviewing that in real time, and we'll be dispatching people to help react to those. I can get back to you specifically. I am just not remembering exactly what our pass policy is for those streets west of Monroe, but we'll make sure that that's addressed and is readily accessible.
Okay, thank you for that, Josh. Any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion for One Music Fest?
I'll move to support.
Thank you, Kay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
I saw Rich. I'll give it to Rich. All righty. Any discussion on the motion? All righty, let us vote. Those in favor of the motion to support One Music Fest, please raise your virtual hands now.
Hotel. Not too much.
All right, I am counting 12.
What? No, less.
I got 12 ayes. Let me lower your hands. All right, any opposed to the One Music Fest? Please raise your hand now. Okay, I'm not seeing any opposed, so by a vote of 12-0, the motion carries. One Music Fest is approved through the NPU.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Alrighty, moving on. Next on the agenda is Atlanta Alive. It's a Class C event, also in the Meadow at Piedmont Park, November 15th, or excuse me, 14th through 16th. Is Joseph Turnbull with us?
Hi everyone. My name is Vincent Timothy. I'm representing Atlanta Alive on behalf of Joseph Turnbull. He couldn't be here tonight.
No problem. Vincent, what was your last name? I'm sorry.
Timothy. Timothy, the man with two first names.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you. What would you like to tell us about 11
Yeah,
Live?
so again, first of all, sorry that we just finally like show up because we didn't realize that there's two NPUs that we had to attend it. We did one NPU-E back in February. We just keep getting emails, NPU-F. We thought that we've done that, So I literally just check again like the PDF and then it says NPU-E and F. So yeah, about the event itself, it's gonna be a 3-day event. We are a family friendly. It's a gospel Christian festival where we have churches coming together in this. We're primarily gonna see 10 to 20,000 people. And then as you see the load in, it's gonna be on Wednesday. We're again family friendly, so there's no alcohol. There's gonna be bounce houses, rides for people. This is a free event, just so everyone understand. And yeah, food trucks, food tents, and just fun stuff. And live music stage and stuff. Yep.
Okay, great. Any questions for Mr. Timothy? Yeah, Kay.
Who's doing security for your event? Who is in charge of it?
Yeah, the person that is in charge is Sergeant Haslin, Captain
Aslan?
Haslin. Yep, from APD.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Is it pronounced Tonja Cash?
Yeah, that's me. Well, exactly. Where's the event going to be located?
Yes, ma'am. The event is going to be exactly at the Meadow of Piedmont Park by, Park Tavern, that side of the park.
So the when you say they're going to be food trucks, did you say food trucks?
Yes, correct.
Are they going to be located along with where are they going to be parked?
Yeah, so the food trucks or food tents, it will be from the Piedmont Park Avenue inside the park around that streetway. Yeah, around the meadow, basically.
Okay, so they're going to be parked inside the park.
Inside, yes, correct.
Okay.
And we're not doing any street closure. We're putting our trucks at a church. Yep.
Okay, it's a Class C event, right? Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, can I have a motion then on this event?
A move to approve.
All right, Rich makes the motion. Any second the motion?
I'll second. I also see Bill's hand is up.
Yeah, okay. Bill, do you have a question?
No, I was voting with the motion.
You're trying to move me along even faster, huh, Bill? All right, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? I'm going to assume Bill does not have a discussion point. So those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand now. I am saying 12 in favor. Let me lower your hands. Anyone opposed to the motion? Opposed to approval? Seeing none, the motion carries by a vote of 12 to 0. Atlanta Live will move forward with our recommendation.
Thank you so much, all.
All right, thank you. Okay, we pulled concert in the park from the consent agenda. Has anyone showed up for concert in the park? All right, still not here. Can I have a motion to defer?
Motion to defer.
Second.
Thank you, Kay. Was that you, Rich, that seconded? All right. Discussion on the motion. Is there anyone opposed to deferral? Seeing none, the motion carries without objection. All right. Likewise, moving on, Fitness ATL was not present when we covered it under consent. Has anyone shown up for Fitness ATL? Kia Lewis or Brad Lewis? Still not here. All right. Can I have a motion to defer? Rich, is that a motion? All right, to defer.
I'll second.
Okay. Made and seconded. Any discussion? Is anyone? Okay, your hand's raised. Do you have a question on the motion? All righty. All right, seeing none. Is anyone opposed to the motion to defer? Seeing none, the motion carries. Fitness ATL is deferred to next month. Moving along, Juneteenth Atlanta Parade and Music Festival. It is a Class D event, 8,500 participant. It's a 3-day event. It's not reoccurring. It's been here before at Piedmont Park. Is Mr. Bob Johnson or Brad Lewis present? Bob Johnson, Brad Lewis, or anyone officially representing Juneteenth Atlanta Parade and Music Festival? Going once. Going twice. Can I have a motion to defer?
Move to defer.
Second.
Thank you, Rich and Kay. Any opposed to the motion? I'm sorry, Tonya Cash, is there a question?
Yes, we said Juneteenth, that's already passed. Is this for next year?
Yes, I'm sorry, 2026.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
No problem. All right, so a motion's been made and seconded. The motion is to defer. Is there anyone that objects to this motion? Seeing none, the motion carries without objection. Moving on, the Red Bull Showrun Atlanta. It's a Class B event, just under 50,000 participants. It's a one-day event that has been here before. It's in Piedmont Park, 10th Street and Charles Allen Gate. I know this one has been deferred previously as the applicant wasn't present. So tonight is Michael King or Kyle Shackert present? Michael King or Kyle Shackert or anyone officially representing Red Bull Showrun Atlanta? Going once, going twice. We have a motion to defer. Would anyone like to make a motion to defer?
Move.
Thanks, Rich.
Tom, isn't this supposed to be next month?
It is.
No, it's 26th. I'm right. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, you're right, Catherine. August 1st, 2026. All right, Rich, and is there a second?
I'll
Marla,
second.
thank you. Anyone opposes the motion to defer? Seeing none, the motion carries without opposition. Okay, gang, we have made it through our special events. Thank you for everyone that was here and for those of you being patient as we work through that. Alrighty, next up on the matters for voting are alcohol licenses. We will take those in the order they were submitted. So the first up, let me switch gears here. I gotta put on my other hat. First application is for a new restaurant called Thyme, spelled like the herb. It's located at 1937 Piedmont Circle. Those of you who might remember years ago, that was the old Denny's location. And then it became a room service lounge, and more recently, it was the Atlantis Restaurant and Lounge. So with us tonight is the applicant, Miss Candace Burns, and her attorney, Mr. Terry Bailey. Are you guys both here with us?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi.
Hey, why don't
Pleasure
we
to
start?
meet you. Pleasure to be here. My name's Terry Bailey. I'm an attorney on behalf of the applicant. And funny you'd mentioned the old Denny's restaurant because I actually just shared some in the chat to give you guys kind of a visual of the place at that corner. And you can see the footprint hasn't changed since the Denny days. As you know, there's been a few other restaurants since then. I believe Room Service Lounge, everybody knew about that one, obviously, and then Atlantis most recently. It's been shut down for a couple of years, and my client has a lease there and is operating under the name Time Restaurant Bar. It's owned by an attorney, Esther, but the agent is present, Candace Burns, and she's present here today. It's going to be a traditional restaurant. The hours are, I want to say it's the hours of operation are Tuesday through Thursday from 5 to 11, Friday and Saturday from 5 to 1, and then Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's listed as a new location, a new business because, like I said, it hasn't been operating for a few years, but we're just going to serve beer, liquor, and wine for on-premise consumption. One of the reasons I dropped these two attachments in the chat is at the neighborhood meeting. There's concern about the parking, as well as we were informed about some of the issues with the previous operators of the business. One thing that was mentioned is potential traffic issues, traffic flow. And regarding the parking, it was mentioned that I think on a building permit, the square footage was listed at 5,542 feet. We didn't realize that was the number, but we believe the square footage was closer to 4,100 square feet, around closer to 4,000. What we did do is we contacted the contractor to figure out what the true number was. We was trying to see if we get a floor plan. While weren't able to grab a floor plan, the owner did provide us with a copy of what I just showed you, which shows the previous advertisement for this location that showed the square footage at 3,960, as well as the tax assessor site. I was looking different places, and we did see the tax assessor site has the same size. So we believe that the square is actually closer to 3,510 with 450 for that patio area. The only difference from the original Denny's location to the actual business is they've screened in that patio. We're not going to have any outdoor amplified music or anything of that nature. Not even going to have a DJ. You'll see the license classification. We mentioned at the previous meeting, it says customer dancing and live entertainment. We added that at my suggestion just because we meet all the distance requirements. And obviously, if you have the customer dancing and live entertainment, it's a lot easier to sell a business.
Rose.
Mr.
Just
Bailey,
me?
you muted there for a minute or locked up for last sentence you said.
Hello?
Yeah, your seems like your camera's freezing up and going mute there for a minute.
Okay, is this better? Is it?
It is. We can hear you now.
Okay, so my client reached out to the VCA, which is the vet clinic around the corner, and they have a little over 20 parking spaces. So they've agreed to let us utilize those parking spaces as well. And we've also been speaking with a few valet companies because and the companies we've spoken with, the reputable companies we've spoken with have mentioned that they can handle any issues with traffic and egress. Their experience, one of the companies I spoke with does valet around the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So they're very experienced with dealing with high traffic areas and navigating that. So what we plan to do is to engage a valet to make sure not only that they are managing the parking lot for the business, but also the surrounding business to make sure that nobody's parking other places and causing other issues. And then lastly, I just want to say, I believe, like I said, we believe the square footage is close to 4,000 square feet, but we were actually focused the last 2 weeks on confirming the square footage of the business, and we didn't even realize that the under MRC2, the parking requirement is actually only one space per 300 square feet. But if the establishment derives more than 60% gross income from the sale of malt beverages or distilled spirits, it would be one per 225 square feet. But either way, that puts the official requirements between 18 and 25 parking spaces. But like I said, we have a little over around 40 parking spaces with additional 20 or over 20 parking spaces that we're going to be utilized for the neighboring business. So with that being said, I know I've been talking a lot. If you guys have any questions or concerns, you're willing to respond to them, or any questions specifically for the applicant, Candace Burns.
Kay, I see your hand up.
Yeah, just two quick questions. First, do you have a lease for those additional parking spaces at the vet office? And the second, oh, go ahead.
Candace, I believe you do have a lease. I don't, have you signed it yet? I know it's been presented.
Yeah, so it's not really like a lease. We have a parking agreement. And so the director there and myself both sat together, put it together, and she has a copy, I have a copy. So it's not anything that's like a lease agreement per se, more so of an agreement, a parking agreement.
Candace, would you be able to forward that lease agreement to me at my?
Yeah, I can drop it here in the chat.
That'd be great. Thank you.
And just to be clear, that's great that you have an agreement with that person, but you have to have a lease with you have to have it with the property owner.
Well, she is who handles all of that on their end. I haven't talked to the property owner or anything like that. She's the middleman. She's my contact person. And so she speaks with her legal department and all of that, and then she speaks to me. So I have not spoken to anybody.
I'm sure Mr. Bailey can advise you on what the code requires, but the code does require that you have a lease with the property owner. So the second question that I have is, and I'll let you address that. But my second question is, if you're planning to use valet, have you applied for a permit with the city for valet parking? Because that's a separate process.
No, I haven't started that process yet. And I do just want to mention that the parking with the VCA, it's not required with our square footage. It's just overflow. So that's additional parking. It's not needed for this process.
So on the zoning, I thought I saw that is zoned in the tax records as C2. You're saying it's MRC2?
Yes, MRC2. I think it was C2 at some point, and it was changed. I believe it was part of the rezoning that rezoned a lot of the stuff around that corridor. And I've looked at legislation in the past, and it has, I think, like a north side and a south side designation, but it has MRC2.
Okay, I didn't see that. Not sure about that. The other thing, as far as square footage, yeah, I know there were a couple of permits. One was really high, 6,400, 500 square feet. Another one I think was 5,500 square feet. But even if you go by the tax records, let's see, somebody forwarded this to me here. The screened in patio counts. So when we add up those areas, I think the tax records show it at 5,072. So that would be the square footage I think we'd be working with.
Yeah, and I think if it was C2, it would be at the 1 per 100, and I think we'd still be under. But since it is MRC2, it goes one parking space per 300. But in the spirit of even if it was C2 and how you calculate, I mean, we want to have adequate parking regardless. That's why we still want to secure additional parking, and we have an open permit, and they won't provide us with a CO or final sign off until we satisfy the parking. So we're welcome with communicating, or you guys communicate with the planning staff as well with any concerns you have, but they won't give us a CO. And as you're aware, when we go through this process, they can recommend approval for that application, but we won't be to get a building sign off or a fire sign off if the permit application is not approved. So we can't be issued an alcohol license without the parking being verified at some point.
Okay. Bill Compton, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, and Tom, I remain concerned about the parking as well. I'm going off the latest building permit as well, and I think the discrepancy may very well be that outdoor patio area that has since been enclosed. And according to city code, once that patio area is actually enclosed, it does have to count into the total square footage for the business. And I remain concerned. We would need to see a signed and notarized parking lease, I believe. And thank you, Kay, for bringing that up with the property owner. The company doing business at the property is not sufficient. It has to be with the property owner, to my understanding. And then I have some follow-up questions as well. Candace, when Terry Bailey asked, and again, I'm Bill Compton, the president of the Piedmont Heights Civic Association. I know we've spoken before. When he had answered some of our introductory questions, he stated that you had worked at the Lily White Restaurant in Buckhead, which was owned by the Essence Restaurant Group from 2020 to 2023 as the manager of that restaurant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and if that was in 2023, you must have left there right about the time that restaurant closed.
Correct.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. I understand that restaurant was actually evicted from the property it was doing business in because of failure to pay back rent. That's my understanding.
I was the manager. As far as I know, there was a investment company from New York that actually bought out a ton of the parcels there. If you actually go to where the location was, everything from the fish market to the gas station, including I think it was Red Rock, something Red Rock, all of the business are closed down. So as far as I knew, investors bought it to do a condo. I don't know anything different.
Yeah, that's my understanding of that there was some subsequent lawsuits filed between that investment company and Essence Restaurant Group because of failure to pay back rent. And then I guess the settlement on those resulted in an agreement to close and leave that space. I would note, Ms. Burns, that the Essence Restaurant Group is registered under a gentleman by the name of Nana Adekwe. Can you explain to me what the relationship is between yourself and Nana Adekwe?
I know him to be the owner of the buildings. I don't have a relationship with him directly. I don't speak to him or anything like that.
You do not.
No.
That's very interesting to me. In 2023, you had an alcohol permit that came in front of this NPU, as well as my neighborhood, for a restaurant that you wanted to open doing business as KRA House. That was going to be at 4442 Plasters Avenue, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you were going to be the owner of that restaurant as part of KRA Hospitality Group?
That's correct.
And your landlord there at that location was the Sahara Atlanta LLC, I believe, which is owned by Nana Adekwe.
I don't know all the back ends of all of this stuff. Like I wanted to open my own business. I've been a manager, I've been in operations, all the back end stuff. I'm not the person for those questions.
So you didn't know who your landlord was?
I know the name. You're asking me what's the relationship. There's no relationship aside from the owner of the buildings.
Well, I take note of it because, now you would like to open, or you want to be the agent for this alcohol license at this new business called Time at 1937 Piedmont Circle. And the landlord at this location is also Sahara Atlanta, which is also Nana Adekwe. So it's just very interesting to me. For the last 5 years, you've gone, this is now the third location, all with the same person, who is Nana Adekwe, being your landlord, and yet you profess not to know him or have any kind of business relationship with this person?
Well, when you have somebody in the middle, then I mean, he doesn't like to be contacted directly. He obviously owns a lot of businesses. There
Sure.
are landlords everywhere. So I don't understand
Well,
what
it's true.
the issue is.
The other thing that's kind of interesting that comes to me is that so Sahara Atlanta LLC is registered at the address of 2625 Piedmont Road, which is a very Suite 500, which is a very small office space. I count four LLCs at a minimum. Sahara Atlanta LLC, Essence Restaurant Group, Atlantis Restaurant Lounge LLC, the Lily White Group, that are all registered at that location, 2625. What's interesting is the owner of your business, Time, which is the Brixton Restaurant Group, is also located at that same location, 2625 Piedmont Road. All these businesses are all located at that same address, which is all Nana Adequate. And the reason I bring this up is it seems like Nana Adequate is affiliated with this new concept restaurant that you're looking to open, and he cannot be. And everything points back to that. Nana Adequate is a convicted felon for a money laundering conviction in 2023. And anybody with a money laundering, felony conviction is not allowed to be in any way affiliated with an alcohol license application, with any of the businesses that are supporting that alcohol license application. And as I look at all the records that are coming out of this, everything that I see leads back to Nana Adequate. And in fact, he is still your landlord at 1937 Piedmont Circle.
Is there a question? I don't,
No,
I mean,
I'm actually making a statement for the benefit of the other NPU members.
And what I'll respond with is didn't know all the information that you're saying, but affiliation is different than ownership interests. And what the law says is that anybody with those type of backgrounds cannot have a interest in the business. So interest is defined as you can be a landlord. You can even loan money to somebody as long as whatever you receive off of it is not based on what the business makes or operates. So like if someone were to loan someone money and they give a set percentage, but they can't have an ownership interest in those
Yeah,
businesses.
so even by your own definition, he does have an interest since he's a landlord, right?
Yes, correct. As a landlord, correct.
I think the concern, if I can interpret what Bill's saying, is that Ms. Burns, we want to make sure that you or the owner, Esther, are actually the ones making decisions related to the operation of this business. And you being the manager and Esther being the owner, I think what Bill's pointing out is there could be concerns of influences from other individuals that that are known to the NPU through a variety of past examples. And forgetting the whole felony charge thing that Bill brought up. The gentleman he referenced was the owner and operator and held the alcohol license for Atlantis, the predecessor at this location. And that was a very problematic location for us and for the local neighbors. There was a lot of fights, a lot of police incidents. So that's the concern, I think, that there could be this undue influence in operational decisions.
In
and
fact,
I
Tom,
understand that. I just, to ask me certain questions that I'm not involved with. I can't answer those. I've been in the industry for a very long time. You guys saw me when I wanted to open my own business. My family owns restaurants. It's been in our family since I was a kid. I've worked at Chateau Elan. I've worked in operations and hospitality for a very long time. So when the opportunity comes to me to stay within the industry in businesses that have been successful, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I don't know about anything that you're talking about with evictions and all of that stuff. That's not my role in any of this.
yeah. Number one, Tom, supporting your statement about the challenges we had with the Atlantis Lounge, which again was the two businesses involved there with the Atlantis Lounge, the Sahara Group, who is going to be your current landlord, Nana Adequate, as well as the operating business for Sahara Lounge. That was very, very problematic. In the last 1.5 years, as an example, that the Atlantis Lounge was open in my community, there were 51 police incidents at that location. Everything from fights to shootings to, various other,
Well,
injuries.
maybe that's why they're closed.
Yeah, it's the same people. And that's what's, I hear your statements, Candace. And quite frankly, I don't find them very credible based on the history of these three specific,
Well, I don't think
locations
it's
that have
fair
all
that you're
been
making
associated with Nana
assumptions.
Adequate.
You're making assumptions, and I don't think that's very fair. I've never been arrested a day in my life. I've never met Nana. You're saying you don't believe that, but I mean, that's your opinion. That's your assumption. I can't say anything about that. But I mean, what you're all saying is right now is just your assumption.
Okay. Are there any
No further questions for me at this time, Tom.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Are there any other questions for Ms. Burns or Mr. Bailey? All righty. I did want to say, thank you for attending the Piedmont Heights meeting. That is our standard process, so we do appreciate the cooperation and the flexibility there.
Yeah, no problem. You guys denied my own ownership one, so I'll just go in front of the LRB.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Are there any other questions? All righty. So with that, I will open it up to a motion.
Yeah, Tom, this is Bill Compton. I would like to make a motion to recommend denial.
Okay, Bill has made a motion. Is there a second?
This is Susan Canellis, and I'd make a motion to second.
All right. Susan, thank you. So there's been a motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, so seeing no request for discussion, we'll open it up to a vote. Again, we're going to use the raise your hand feature. All those in favor of the motion for denial, please raise your hand now. Okay, I am seeing 12 raised and one clapping hand. Okay, the clapping hand is gone. I am counting 13 with one double. I'm counting 14. Is that your count, Kay?
Yes.
Oh, actually, it's 15 now with a double.
Yep,
Okay.
15.
15 ayes. Let me lower all the hands. Okay, those opposed to the motion for denial, please raise your hand now. Anyone opposed to the motion for denial? Okay, so by a vote of 15 ayes and 0 nays, the motion for denial carries. So Ms. Burns and Ms. Bailey, again, I do thank you for coming here tonight. I know that probably wasn't the outcome you were hoping for, but we do appreciate you coming here before
No, it was expected, but thank you, Tom. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you for your flexibility as well. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right,
Thanks.
have a great night. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but I completely understand.
Gotta feed the babies.
I understand. It's going to be a late one, so thank you
Oh,
for
yeah.
joining. All right,
No
good night.
problem. Good night.
Okay. Moving along, we have one more alcohol license on the agenda for this evening. This is for another restaurant, but this one is a change of ownership. The name of the restaurant is called Here Today. It's located at 736 Ponce de Leon Avenue. That's the former Bookhouse Pub location that many of you might be familiar with. So is Mr. Quasi Adedivo and Mr. Dwayne Martin, his attorney. Are you guys present?
Yes, good evening. This is Dwayne Martin, attorney for Mr. Adedivo. As you stated, Mr. Vice Chair, this is an application for a change of ownership for the former Bookhouse Club at 736 Ponce de Leon Avenue. Mr. Adedivo proposes to operate a similar operation to the former Bookhouse Club. It's a neighborhood bar with a slightly elevated menu. We outlined some of the menu items at the prior meetings with the Virginia Highland Civic Association. We did, by agreement with Virginia Highland Civic Association, make a modification to the hours of operation for the business to close at 11 p.m. during the week and 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Mr. Adedivo is by profession a day trader with a keen and burning interest to get into restaurant and hospitality. And that's the basis for this new venture. We're happy to answer any questions you might have about the application.
All right. And again, thank you for being here, Mr. Martin. And I want to thank you again for your flexibility in rescheduling this meeting. You were originally on the schedule a month ago, and you were willing, at our request, to defer a month so that Virginia Highlands Civic Association could have some questions. So we appreciate that. And I know you attended not one, but two Virginia Highland meetings. So you've been through the ringer a little bit. Maybe for the interest of the broader NPU community that's here, I can briefly recap some of the key notes from the Virginia Highland meetings. I did sit in on those as an observer. So again, the sole owner of the business is your client, Mr. Adedivo. He is owning it through Stealth Enterprise Agency, which has been around for a couple of years. He also runs some of his other businesses through that same LLC. I believe he has a successful tax service business. And you mentioned this is his first venture into the restaurant arena. You'd like to open in early August, but you said that date is fluid based on some of the permitting going on. It's a traditional bar and grill, and thank you again for sharing that menu. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's kind of bar food, but elevated. I think there were some higher end items, some octopus and things of that nature on the menu. So that all looked good. No age restrictions. Parking, you're zoned PD, plan development, which is a very lucrative as far as not requiring many spaces. So we calculated only 6 spaces required, and it's a decent sized lot. So no major concern there. You said you're using tips training and safe serve to train employees. You've identified 2 chefs. One's on standby, one's available with a 2 week notice. We briefly discussed Mr. Editavo's past. And again, you did make concessions on the operating hours. Again, very appreciative of that. And to Mr. Editavo for being willing to change that. And Mr. Martin, I'd like to thank you because you were very diligent in following up directly with the city on that. And that's atypical, quite frankly. So we appreciate your diligence and closing that issue out officially. That was very helpful. Is that a fair synopsis of things we discussed at the last meeting?
I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you.
Okay. I just didn't want to put you through the mill of asking you all the same questions again instead of this audience, in front of this audience. But just a couple more questions or clarifications. You said no live music at this venue and no external speakers, no entertainment of any kind. Is that correct? No DJ, anything like that?
That's correct.
Okay. And I assume there's no bottle service being offered here?
No bottle service.
No cover charge?
No cover charge.
All right. And let's see. I know Kevin Cronin, who of course is with a board at Virginia Highlands Civic Association. He wrote me before this meeting. Unfortunately, he could not make it, but Virginia Highland did meet on this issue. For the benefit of the larger audience, the Planning Committee at Virginia Highland voted unanimously in favor of this application, 5-0. So it was unanimous vote recommending approval. So with that, I'll open it up to any comments or questions from the larger NPU audience. Okay, I'm not seeing any additional questions or comments. So if there's no further discussion, I will open it up to a motion. Does anyone like to make a motion on this application?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank
And I'll
you.
second.
So that was Marla and Kay for approval. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing no discussion, we will take it for a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve, please raise your hands now. Okay, I'm counting 11 ayes. Let me lower the hands. Any opposed to the motion for approval? Anyone opposed to the motion of approval? Please raise your hand now. All right, I'm seeing no hands raised. So by a motion of, or by a vote of 11-0, the motion to approve carries. All right. Congratulations, Mr. Martin. Appreciate your time and
Thank
flexibility
you very
working
much.
with us. And
Pleasure to work with you. Thank you very much.
yeah, please welcome Mr. Adedevo to the neighborhood. I love the Bookhouse Pub, so I'll be sure to check out this new establishment.
Look forward to seeing you. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. And again, you're welcome to stay to the end of the meeting, but more than understand if you want to call it a night.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Okay. That concludes our alcohol licenses. And moving on, we have variances. We covered two of them under the consent agenda. So that just leaves 141. Wiley, you want to run us through that?
Okay. V25-141, applicant seeks a special exception from the zoning ordinance to reduce the minimum off-street parking requirements from the required 168 spaces down to 15 spaces. This is at 1907 Piedmont Road. Is the applicant present to give us a brief synopsis of the project?
Yes, sir, I'm here. My name is Randy Pemsler. Good evening, everyone, and sorry it's gotten so late. I will be as brief as I can be. I have a presentation, but I'm just going to hit the highlights and not do a screen share unless it becomes necessary. The property is zoned MRC2C. We have just under an acre of land. The proposal is for a 100,000 square foot building with 10% of the building per the MRC2C zoning to be a non-storage use. So a little bit over 10,000 square foot will be non-storage. There are 4 stories of building fronting on Piedmont Road. We did send an updated site plan with addressing some of the conditions that were raised by the Morningside Lenox Park Association and provided a rendering as well, a very schematic rendering. But the highlights of those issues that we were asked to respond to very early on were the hours of operation. The storage office will be open from 9:30 in the morning until 6 p.m. The storage units will be open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. There was a concern very, appropriately about security. The property and the rear of the building where the storage takes place is monitored, will be monitored 24/7. Access is provided via secure keypad entry only. That's during the hours when the staff is not on site. The Piedmont Retail hours of operation will be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. There was a concern about exterior lighting. We noted on this site plan that we will submit to the City of Atlanta as an amendment to our application that cutoff diffusers will be used. That'll knock the light down from adjacent properties. And we did add to the site plan a note and a graphic that indicates that there's opaque fencing to the residential properties to the east and a landscape area for the first 20-foot adjacent to those residential properties. The building is approximately 70 feet from the adjacent residential properties. I'm glad to answer any questions and hope that I've done an adequate job hitting the highlights, but I've got graphics if the group would like to see them. I'm just really trying to be respectful of your time. It's gotten late for y'all. Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant? David, do you want to go through what MLPA discovered and went through and what your recommendation is?
Certainly. Yeah, we did a site visit. We discussed everything that he mentioned in depth, and we're very pleased with all of his responses. We also realized that 168 parking spaces in that space, one will not fit, and is not really a reasonable number for a public storage facility. That 15 was more in line, and we thought that was adequate. He made attempts to speak to the neighbors behind by giving them letters and packages. None of those neighbors replied to us, and none of them showed up at our Zoom call either. He has spoken with both neighbors on each side, and they have no objections to this. In fact, some of them are, well, one of them in fact, the Carlisle is in high favor of this taking place. So we approved it without any hesitation, and we did notate in our approval the additions that he added to the site plans. So I would recommend that we approve this as presented, with the addition notated on the site plans.
And that's the document you sent me titled 1907 Piedmont Concept Plan?
Yes. There's a concept plan and there's rendering. And the rendering was obviously a rendering.
And that concept plan, it's hard to read, printed out. It's a little tiny print, but I do see some coloring for the vegetation or the landscaping in the back of the property, and then the other things that you had asked for are also on this one document.
Yes, they're down in the corner. If you look, it's probably very small because
with the red star.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Somerville, if it helps, I'm glad to share that on the screen just so everyone could see how we handled that. But if not necessary, I'm okay.
I've got the document and I can forward it so we can attach it to whatever our recommendation is.
Thank you.
And Randy, just so I'm clear, this storage unit replaces the spa that's currently there and
Exactly.
another structure as well?
Exactly right.
Two spas.
Yep.
Two spas. So you'll have, you'll have Club Platinum on one side and the Carlisle on the other as neighbors. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
And I believe you have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion to approve.
All right. So I'm sorry. Marla seconded, and the motion was made by David?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Any discussion on the motion? All right. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, please raise your hands. All right, I'm counting 12 ayes. I will lower the hands. All those opposed to the motion to approve, please raise your hands. All right, seeing none, the motion carries by a vote of 12-0. Sorry, Wiley, I could have let you do the count. I've been on a roll tonight, I can't
I
slow
didn't want to
down
get in your
here.
way.
Just just try to get through the night.
You betcha.
Very
All
good.
right. Well,
Okay. Well,
I'll
congratulations. The motion carries.
We thank
and
you
I
all very
will.
much. Have
All
a good
right.
evening.
I'll
Thank
send
you.
that document, Tom, so you can attach it to your recommendation.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, that concludes the variances and concludes our matters for voting. So thank you, everyone, for your participation through that. We are up to item number 8 on the agenda, which is presentations. We only have one tonight. It's for the Piedmont Heights Master Plan. I should point out tonight's presentation is for informational purposes only at this point. NPU-F will vote on adopting this plan next month on August 20th at that meeting, and then it's scheduled for public hearing date September 3rd. Again, at this point, is for informational purposes only tonight. I believe it's going to be presented by Nate as well as Bill. So, gentlemen, take it away.
Thanks, Tom. Hey, everyone. It's Nate Hosel. I'm a planner with the Department of City Planning. We've been working with Piedmont Heights for the past year or two on this small area plan for the neighborhood. And because we were preoccupied, myself in particular, with Plan A, getting the citywide comprehensive plan through a planning process past 18 months and get it adopted actually this past week. We're now, moving forward with a few neighborhood plans, including Piedmont Heights, for the third quarter hearing, which Tom mentioned is in September. So you'll see the ordinance on your agenda next month for a vote. I'll drop in a fact sheet just to provide basic information and link to the website to review this plan. But again, Bill is going to provide like a quick presentation, information purposes. Any comments, suggestions, reach out to me or Bill. We'll make sure we get them looked at, incorporated before the full adoption next month. So Bill, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Nate. Very, very greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to pause for a quick second before we get started. And my apologies, everyone. I will keep this very brief. But if you do scan this QR code with your phone that's on the screen, that will take you to the actual final version of our master plan in case you'd like to peruse it yourself. It is a bit lengthy. It's about 90 pages or so long, but you're welcome to look through it. So very, very quickly, kind of a little bit of background. We have had some earlier master plans for the Piedmont Heights community, originally in 2007. Although the geographic boundaries weren't exactly the same for where we are today. That plan was then refreshed in 2012. And then, of course, we have now done a major update to the plan that we initiated in the summer of 2023. I would add the process we went through, in the years 2023 and 24 was much more comprehensive than any that we had done before, and we did include professional planning consultants as part of that process. We also had a steering committee that was formed and gave oversight throughout the planning process that was, formed with representatives from both residents within our community as well as some of the major businesses within the community, as well as some other City of Atlanta representatives. We met almost on a monthly basis and then periodically with the community as well. Quickly, kind of moving forward from a timeline standpoint, this will give you a little bit of more information on kind of how things went. Again, I think the key things I would point out here is from a community engagement standpoint. Again, we had monthly steering committee meetings that were open to the public and anybody could come and attend those. We did have 2 very public community meetings, in which we solicited specific feedback from residents and businesses within the community, as well as online surveys. And then we had a number of focus groups within special interest groups that identified some specific areas of the plan that were of concern to them or where they wanted to provide kind of more specific input as well. And again, we actually completed the draft of the plan back in February, really in the spring of 24. And we had to wait a bit for the CDP process to kind of get itself ironed out. And here we are now in front of the NPU and ideally in front of City Council in September of this year for final plan adoption. I'll give you a quick peruse, through the table of contents for the plan. Again, it is quite lengthy. There's approximately, quarter of it was focused on the existing, kind of an introduction and the existing conditions within the community. And then most of the document was really focused around recommendations, and we hit all the major categories: transportation, land use, open space, urban design, and quality of life for the community. So those are all there. And again, I would encourage you to go through and look through the plan. So kind of where are we now? We're asking for the recommendation from NPU-F in August at our next meeting. And then we are looking for adoption by City Council in September. And just kind of a highlight on some of the things that are in the plan as well. There were some 64 projects or recommendations that were identified. Some of those are actually already underway. A couple of those are really to highlight are some intersection improvements, both for the intersection at Montgomery Ferry and Piedmont, as well as actually, it should say Montgomery Ferry and Monroe, the intersection there, and that's actually going to be part of some of the Monroe Drive complete streets. There's some 64, I think, recommendations or such that are in the master plan. Of some of those are ongoing recommendations, and then we have a number of those that are short term and a number of those are long term that we have divided up, and we're going to start working on collectively as a community. So quickly, if you do have any follow-up or questions, please, happy to address them now. You can also address them to our planning committee at planning@piedmontheights.org. And again, I want to encourage you, if you want to scan this QR code, you can actually pull up a copy of the plan and peruse it at your own, your own time. And with that, I'll turn it over for any questions.
Any questions for Bill or Nate? All right, I guess that's a good sign then.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, gentlemen. And again, we will vote on this next meeting. Okay, that concludes our presentations for the evening. Next up is item number 9 on the agenda, our planners report. As I mentioned earlier, Doug Young is our normal planner. He's not with us tonight, but Susan Coleman is helping out. Susan, anything you'd like to report?
Well, yes, I do have a couple of items I have to report for the planners report for Doug. I was gonna say Douglas. I call him that sometime, but Doug this month. And the very first one will be the updates from your previous voting items. And given the volumes of applications that you have here in your NPU, the only updates tonight that I'm going to focus on will be the status of the differing recommendations you made. For example, in May, the NPU, you guys voted to support V2598 at 1914 Wildwood Place. And in June, the BZA voted to deny the application. So you also voted not to support V2585 at 1304 Beach Valley Road. And in June, the BZA voted to approve the application. So, but if you're looking for any updates on a specific application, I'm going to take all of this information I'm giving you tonight and put the link inside of the chat once I get done. So there's only 2 things on here I need to talk to you that's new for you. The first complete draft, as Nate, I think, no, this is what you mentioned earlier. The draft of the zoning ordinance revision is available for your feedback on atlzoning.com. The draft will be accessible through September the 2nd. So all are invited to use their interactive tool to make comments and suggestions in the draft. And the last report I need to give to you guys is the NPU University Community Leadership Institute will be returning this fall. The City of Atlanta has partnered with Clark Atlanta University to offer 6 interactive sessions for emerging community leaders to sharpen their skills and deepen their understanding of Atlanta's civic landscape. Classes will convene every other Saturday starting September the 6th through November the 15th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then the sessions are mostly in person, but with some classes being hybrid. The program is free, space is limited, and full attendance is required for this. So you can learn more and apply at npuatlanta.org. That is it. I'm sorry I couldn't have my my camera on. For some reason it's not working, of course. So but if you have any questions for anything I just read, I'm here to answer those for Doug.
All right. Thank you,
And that is
Susan.
it.
Any questions for Susan or in general on planning? All right. Well, thank you for being here, Susan, and enjoy
No
your
problem.
vacation this week.
I plan to. Thank you, though.
All righty.
All
All right.
right.
Moving along, item 10 on the agenda, neighborhood and committee reports. Is there anyone on from Linridge Martin Manor that would like to share a report? No? Okay. Piedmont Heights. Bill, anything else
No
you'd like to
report,
share?
Litchmar Manor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rich.
Yeah, no report from Litchmar Manor. I do have a parks report though.
All right. Well, you're coming up soon. Coming up soon. Okay, so nothing from Linridge. Bill, anything on Piedmont Heights other than the presentation?
I think I've spoken enough for the night.
I know the feeling, my friend. I know the
We
feeling.
we will have our annual Taste of Pie High as well as the Piedmont Heights Civic Association annual meeting coming up in September. So we will start advertising that. In fact, it's already been advertised on social media. We welcome anybody from the community who wants to attend that. And nothing else at this time.
All right. Thank you, Bill. How about Morningside Lennox Park? Is Marla still with us?
Yes, thank you. We have a new neighbor welcome on August 14th that we've been publicizing and sent invitations out. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you, Marla. Virginia Highland. I know Kevin couldn't be here tonight. Anyone else representing Virginia Highlands? Okay. Edmund Park. Generally not. Emory, CDC, Druid Hills. All righty. All right, Rich, you're back up. Park trees and environmental.
Okay, so the South Fork Conservancy's Creek Rising fundraiser will occur on September 18th at Zona Lake Park. I put a link in the chat. And the Great Southeastern Pollinator Census will take place on August 22nd, 23rd. The closest official spot for us is up at Chastain. I put a link in the chat for that. Also, for all homeowners, we're going through the hottest part of the season. So watering is very important for all your lawns and plants. Mulch everything very well, all your plants. And if you do cut your lawn, make sure it's only cut very high, otherwise your lawn will suffer. That's it.
Good advice, but I already burned up my lawn, Rich. You got to me a month too late. Okay, thanks for that. Any questions for parks, trees, environment? All right, how about education? Is Jason with us? All right, I'm not seeing Jason online. Marla, anything on communications?
No, we're good. Thank you.
All right. Kay or Susan, anything on public safety?
The only thing I have, we were supposed to have our quarterly State of the Zone meeting with Zone 6 last week, but we had Zoom technical difficulties. So that's now been rescheduled for the 30th. And a message will go out to all safety team leads in Zone 6 tomorrow. That's all I've got. Susan?
Excellent. Susan?
Nope, that would be all I have too.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. And lastly, Katie, anything from APAB? Is Katie on with us? Oh, yeah, she is.
I am. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay. No.
Well, it's good to see your smiling face anyways.
Smiling and awake.
Yeah, let's at this point that counts for something, definitely.
Great.
Okay, let's move on with the chair report. We covered that. Debbie has brought up in the past that she's looking for volunteers to work with a couple of the large festivals, Midtown Neighborhood Association, Shaky Knees, and One Music Fest. So if you live near the park and you want to get involved in that, I think Debbie probably would still welcome help there. I've got a couple of races coming up that we will not be voting on, but FYI, there's a Popsicle 5K, 10K half marathon. That's going to be next month, August 16th. It's at 500 or 550 Somerset Terrace, which is a location for New Realm Brewing on the Beltline. And that's where the race is too. It runs along the east side Beltline. Again, no NPU vote, just for informational purposes. Likewise, another race, Atlanta Christmas 5K. This one's going to be December 20th at Piedmont Park. Again, it appears the entire route is contained within the confines of the park. Again, we're not going to vote on that event. It's considered an assembly or large gathering, so it doesn't require an NPU vote. But feel free to get your sneakers and thermals out and running that. The last thing I'll say in the chair, again, I touched on this briefly, but NPU elections will be in November. I know there's a lot of civic-minded folks out there. It's a great opportunity to give back to the community, get engaged, and amplify your voice and help consolidate the voices of others. So I strongly encourage any of you that are looking for a good activity to get involved with to reach out to a member of the NPU, and we can talk about what positions would be ideal. The NPU needs you. Okay, that's it for the chair report. Unless the real chair, who's still with us, wants to say anything?
Nope.
Well, we officially got you on the record, Debbie. So so you get paid tonight then for for your services.
Copycat.
Okay, any old business? Not seeing any. Any new business? All right, not seeing any, which brings us to item 13 on the agenda. Folks, I'm sad to say that the party is over. We are ready to adjourn if there's no other issues. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, okay, is there a second?
I would like to second that.
Was that Katie?
It was.
All right. Made and seconded. Anyone opposed to the motion to adjourn? Seeing none, the motion carries. The meeting has ended at 9:27 p.m. Let the record show that's almost an hour before when we usually end. So my fast talking must have paid off. But I appreciate, in all honesty, I do appreciate everybody's support. I know this was my first time. It was not as smooth as Debbie's meetings, but I think we made it through. So I appreciate everybody's help getting us to the finish line.
You did a great job, Tom.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm actually trying. I need to throw it so I get fired. That's what I'm shooting for. But anyways, thanks everybody for joining. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.